Hello, everyone. LaRonda Little here.
And I am Emmanuel Lati.
Welcome to another episode of Be Well, Be Whole, where we discuss life, spirituality, and wellness. We invite you to follow and engage us on Instagram and Facebook at Per Ank Wellness.
Here we go.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to our first official episode of Be Well, Be Whole for 2021. Welcome, and this segment we are doing a New Year reality check. A New Year reality check. So where are we now? Um, so right now, a lot has happened since January. Um,
So much.
a lot has happened. Georgia, um, first of all, has elected its first African American and first Jewish senators. The nation has elected its first woman, first African American, first Asian American vice president. Um, However, Georgia is also the home of the congresswoman who was stripped of her committee assignments because of her incendiary statements in support of QAnon and various conspiracy theories. And in addition to all of this, we are still in the middle of this devastating pandemic, which has taken the lives of over 460,000 people.
Yeah.
On the flip side of that, we have several vaccines that are presently available, of which we are challenged to get the vaccines out fast enough and ahead of new coronavirus variants. So, a lot is going on. Many of us are waiting on the vaccine, and many of
Mhm.
us are not. And we've talked about that too, Dr. Larte. So it brings to mind this article that Dr. Eddie Glaude Jr. Published in the Washington Post, and it's entitled "The Pandemic Will Pass, Our Grief Will Endure."
Yeah.
And so, what he says in the article is that Americans have to find a way to grapple with and make sense of what is happening to us.
Grappling with and making sense. What a really important way to actually begin any enterprise.
Right.
You see, awareness, increasing our awareness of reality.
Mm-hmm.
Coming to terms with what is real and what is actually going on, and then examining it. I call it critical awareness. And I want to say that critical awareness is the starting point of wellness and
Mm-hmm.
wholeness.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yeah.
see, if we attempt to hide our heads in the sand, if we attempt to escape reality, if we deny or if we avoid, we are in ill health. We are in a state of inability. We will not be able to grow. We will not be able to find the strength to actually go forward. So critical awareness,
Mm-hmm.
grappling with, in Glaude's terms, grappling with and making sense of what is real.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's the starting point of health.
I would also say that we disempower ourselves
Hmm.
when we, hide in the sand and we don't deal with our own reality, our own
Hmm.
um, existence. How are we doing? I'm reminded of a conversation I had with a colleague, and they were dealing with a condition, and they said something that made so much sense. And in order for me to even think about getting well, I have to learn as much as I can about this condition so that I can have power over it. And it starts just like you said, with dealing with it, with facing it.
You see, things, you're absolutely right. Things have power over us when we don't have power over them, when we don't face them. You
Mm-hmm.
see, so that we are when we are shrouded in ignorance or shrouded in falsehood,
Yeah.
then that has power over us and
Ignorance
can,
is bliss.
that's it. And it can lead us in ways and to do things that are just completely death dealing, right?
Right.
And those people who stormed the Capitol
Mm-hmm.
were going forward with false belief,
Right.
and could not face the reality of loss. They could not face the reality of the loss. And there are so many people who are really ill,
Yeah.
because they cannot face the reality of loss or the reality of the pandemic. They cannot face the reality of it.
Yeah. And not, I'm also thinking about interdependence and
Mhm.
interconnectedness of people, whether we like it or not. Our realities are interconnected. So
Right.
the person who does not deal with realities also does not consider the impact of their actions on the other. It's a dangerous place to be when we don't face
Yeah.
what's really going on.
Yeah, because reality has so many dimensions,
Mm,
hasn't it? Reality has our personal, our emotional dimensions. And sometimes we don't even want to face our personal and our emotional, we don't want to face our emotional realities.
yeah.
We don't want to face our social realities, our
Mhm.
interpersonal and communal realities. I mean, the realities that have been exposed by the global pandemic,
Mhm. Mhm.
the fact that I mean, this was known, but the disparities uh, in the even the distribution of the illness, and then the distribution of the vaccines.
Yeah.
I mean, uh, I was just looking at the figures just a few days ago, and they were saying, the the illness, the virus has disproportionately affected people of color, and minoritized people, and yet the vaccine outlay has been skewed in the opposite direction. The people who are least affected are the ones who are getting the vaccines. And then the people who are most affected are not taking the vaccines, are not
This is
getting the vaccine.
right, and this is a very important point that you're making because, um, many of us, people of color, the media And I'm not against the media. We have to be discerning.
Yeah.
But this goes back to us not hiding our heads in the sand, so to speak. Although many of us are reticent to get the vaccine, there are many of us that are in support of
Yeah.
getting the vaccine. And so what you're saying, Dr. Larte, is very important. We have to face the reality so that we understand what are the factors at
Right.
so we know the whole story and so that we can make informed decisions regarding every aspect of our lives, be our emotional health, physical health, communal health. We need to know the whole
Yeah.
story as much as possible.
Indeed. And this
Mhm.
is this is so important in this era of falsehood, fake news, and the theories that are being spread. They continue to be spread. I was just uh, reading an article in which this is still being there's still being propagated, uh, a notion that the former president Trump is going to be inaugurated as president on March the 4th. And
Mm,
so people are being fed this kind of thing. And some people have already begun to move into the mode of I'm going to travel to the capital because Trump is going to be inaugurated on March 4th.
mm, mm, mm.
So I mean, January 6th was the direct result of falsehood and fake beliefs, a refusal to accept the fact that the election had been lost.
Right.
You know,
Mm-hmm. There, we were talking earlier, and the name Jim Jones
yes,
came up. Um, Not facing reality, or not looking at the whole picture of a thing, um, has dire um, implications that we may not immediately be aware of, right? Um, by choosing to remain ignorant, we could be leading ourselves
absolutely.
or allowing ourselves to be led into death dealing situations, right?
Yes. So, so it really is important to face reality. And it really is important to interrogate what we see, what we hear, to get to the reality that lies beneath it, so that we can begin to take those things, we can strategize to do those things that will bring us into health and wellness and wholeness.
Right, right.
Not everything that is faced can be transformed, but nothing can be transformed that is not faced
Mm,
squarely.
that's right. That's right. And we have the power to transform.
Right,
We have the power to facilitate
right.
uh, transformation as as human beings created in the image of God. We are co-creators of life.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes, yes. And so I'm really looking forward to our conversations this year because we will be wanting to peel back and face and look closely at different things: political, social,
Yeah.
cultural, economic,
Yes. Yeah.
psychological, spiritual, global. We want to face up to all of these realities. We want to help to challenge falsehood
Mhm.
wherever it is that it rears its ugly head,
Mhm.
uh, and really peel back so that we can make for health. It's as simple as the example of any injury or any sore that one gets. If one does not actually address it, one does not, and addressing it means cleaning it up and making the extent of it clear,
Right. Right.
and then applying the correct remedies. But if you leave some aspects of it unclear and unclean, it's only going to become even more infected, and the effectiveness of any kind of treatment is compromised if it's not cleaned and cleared up and opened up clearly enough before treatment is applied.
That's so true. Um, I also wanted to name that many of our falsehoods, the falsehoods or the things that we believe to be true that are harmful are embedded in religious constructs. And so throughout these conversations, we will be naming those things and talking about those things as well. So I'm excited too to grapple with these things.
So you're so right, and it is so difficult to deal with religious falsehoods.
Mhm. Mhm.
You know, because sometimes we've been actually brought up on some things, and we've been made to think that this is the way it is, or this is the way it should be, but it's false.
Right.
And yet it is so important for us to particularly critically examine some of the things that we have been made to believe, or that we've taken for granted,
Right.
which are actually not true or helpful.
And it
Uh,
won't send us to hell if we challenge it.
right,
Yeah. Yeah. So
right, yeah.
so the charge has been put forward, and we will continue these discussions, and we will be inviting others into these discussions. So we hope that you all will continue to join us and follow us on Instagram at Per Inc Wellness, on Facebook at Per Inc Wellness, and we have a YouTube channel. Be well, be whole. We hope that you will go there and click like and subscribe and share us
Mhm.
with your friends and let us know your thoughts. What else,
Look
Dr. Mate?
I look forward so much, and do please feel free to send in any questions or any things that you're grappling with, which can contribute to our conversations and our discussions, because these are very much uh, intended to be in response to our individual journeys as well as our communal journey as a people.
Thank you. Well, this concludes our New Year reality check, and we'll be with you soon. Have a good
Indeed.
one.
Have
Be
a good one.
well and
Be
be whole.
whole.